Welcome back, family. In this video, we present 30 challenging multiple-choice questions that will test your knowledge of creation, Noah's Ark, Abraham's journey, Jacob's family, and Joseph's incredible story in Egypt. Don't forget to share this video with anyone who loves testing their Bible knowledge. Let's begin. From what part of Adam's body did God create Eve? Answer: his rib. Genesis 2:21-22. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib, which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. What was the first thing God said was not good? Answer: that man should be alone. Genesis 2:18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. What did God call the light? Answer: day. Genesis 1:5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. How old was Adam when he died? Answer: 930 years. Genesis 5:5. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. What was the name of the garden where God placed the man? Answer: Eden. Genesis 2:8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. What wood was used to make the ark? Answer: gopher wood. Genesis 6:14. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. What was Abel's occupation? Answer: keeper of sheep. Genesis 4:2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. How many years did it rain during the flood? Answer: 40 days and 40 nights. Genesis 7:12. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Where did God place the cherubim and flaming sword? Answer: east of Eden. Genesis 3:24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Who was the oldest man mentioned in the Bible? Answer: Methuselah. Genesis 5 verse 27. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Of every clean beast, how many was Noah told to take? Answer: by sevens. Genesis 7:2. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. What was the name of Hagar's son? Answer: Ishmael. Genesis 16:15. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. Who was the king of Salem who met Abram with bread and wine? Answer: Melchizedek. Genesis 14:18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. Who was Adam and Eve's third son? Answer: Seth. Genesis 4:25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God, said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. How many people were saved on the ark? Answer: 8. Genesis 7:13. In the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the three wives of his sons with them, into the ark. What did Lot's wife become when she looked back at Sodom? Answer: a pillar of salt. Genesis 19:26. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. Where did the ark rest? Answer: Ararat. Genesis 8:4. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. What did Sarah do when she heard she would have a child in her old age? Answer: She laughed within herself. Genesis 18:12. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? How old was Abraham when Isaac was born? Answer: 100 years old. Genesis 21:5. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. What was the name of Abraham's wife? Answer: both Sarah and Sarai. Genesis 17:15. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. What did God provide as a substitute for Isaac on the altar? Answer: a ram. Genesis 22:13. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Who was Rebekah's brother? Answer: Laban. Genesis 24:29. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man, unto the well. Which brother convinced the others to sell Joseph rather than kill him? Answer: Judah. Genesis 37:26 and 27. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. What was the first bird Noah sent out from the ark? Answer: raven. Genesis 8:7. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro, until the waters were dried up from off the earth. What did Jacob call the place where he saw the ladder to heaven? Answer, Bethel. Genesis 28:19. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of that city was called Luz at the first. For how many total years did Jacob serve Laban for his 2 wives and his cattle? Answer, 20 years. Genesis 31:41. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. What sign did God give as a covenant that he would never again destroy the earth by flood? Answer, the rainbow. Genesis 9:13. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. Who was Abraham's father? Answer, Terah. Genesis 11:27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. What did Adam and Eve sew together to cover themselves? Answer, fig leaves. Genesis 3:7. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Who bought Joseph in Egypt? Answer, Potiphar. Genesis 39:1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt. And Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither.